We're live, pals. Welcome to the NoDQ review, episode number 97. We are only a few away now until 100. Let me throw it over to our moderator for today's festivities, good old Virtue. How's it going, man?
What's up? This is about the time where the thumbs down bot gets a hold of this show and starts. We get like 20 thumbs down by the time the video's over, and then an hour later, YouTube says, nope, false. But anyway, how's it going? The elite panel of NoDQ, and I know some of you in the chat right now are probably like, holy crap. Who is that guy sitting in the room, whatever room he's in with the white wall? So I'm going to go right to TJS so he can do his grand return, big promo. What's up?
Man, it feels good to be back, fellas. It feels like forever since I've been here, ready to talk about some wrestling. And wow, what a week we have had. We had Double or Nothing. What a great show that was. We'll get to it. Some pretty good Dynamite and NXT. And then, you know, there was Raw, too. Raw happened. I'm just ready to talk about it, fellas. Big G, how's it going, man?
I am doing actually pretty good. I also enjoy Double or Nothing, but we'll get to that here pretty shortly. I'm liking my new work schedule, working Monday through Fridays, off Saturdays and Sundays finally.
That's a normal work schedule. All right. Yeah.
So other than that, doing pretty good, you know. Virtue, how are you doing?
Good. And I used to work the weekends, so, you know, anybody that works nights and weekends, trust me, I used to do that. Aaron Rift works 24/7, 7 days a week. So everybody knows how I'm doing if you follow me on Twitter. Aaron Rift, how's it going, man?
I'm doing pretty well. I'm happy to have TJS back in the fold after his NoDQ.com wellness violation, 90 days. That's how we do it here.
Yeah.
We have a couple super chats already, so let's get to those real quick before we start. Colin Andrew with $2 says, welcome back, TJS. And thank you for that, Colin. Adrian with a $2 or $20 super chat. I think it's pounds, but I'm not sure. Says, evening, men. Baby Bray is back. Baby Bray Wyatt. Well, you got cleaned up a little bit. Not as long as I'm used to seeing it, but I like it.
The pandemic, man, drives me crazy.
Let's face it. Bray Wyatt's not even the cool thing anymore, so why even keep a beard like that?
Braun Strowman.
Yeah, well, him too.
He's the Universal Champion.
Ken terminated by Google with a $3 super chat. Thank you for that. Ken says, gives TJS the welcome back chant. Welcome back. Welcome back. All right, let's get started with this.
Well, let's kick it off with Fallout, our final thoughts for Aaron Rift on AEW Double or Nothing. God, I can't even believe it's been about a year since the first Double or Nothing. So at this particular one, like I said, Brian Cage debuted. Man, this guy's a freak of nature. Power, basically power and glory, because he's good at lucha stuff too. Immediately, he's a number one contender. I like that. Like, I actually didn't think they were going to do that. I picked Luchasaurus, but you know what? They did it. And of course, Cody wins the TNT title. I think that belt was unfinished, by the way, gentlemen. I'm going to give them, we all made fun of that. We're going to give them the benefit of the doubt and see what it looks like in about a month. I get Cody winning. Okay, he lost to MJF, can't compete for that title. He's the face of, well, even though he claims he was like the fourth choice on Dynamite, he's the face of AEW. He's their TNT champion. Okay, I get it, but can't you have the chase the heel a little bit longer? Couldn't you have had Archer win it, maybe had Tyson like just some animosity and drag this story out to the next event? But hey, whatever. And of course, the Stadium Stampede and all of its grand Matt Hardy glory and Chris Jericho, and I loved it. So what's everyone's thoughts here on Double or Nothing? Tyson was caught yawning. Come on, camera people. That's the difference. WWE would have not done that. They would have not cut to him if they noticed it. What's up?
I think Mike Tyson was just doing a TJS impression.
Perhaps. And we're going to talk more about Tyson later as well with the whole Jericho angle from Dynamite. But TJS, since you're back, let's go to you. I hope you caught Double or Nothing, or at least you know what happened.
Oh, you damn right I caught the show, man. I loved it. It was great. From start to finish, I thought it was just awesome. We can start off with the ladder match. It was crazy. It sucks that Phoenix was out of it. I guess Kip Sabian did an okay job, but if Phoenix was in that match, wow, I can't imagine how much more better it could have gotten. But I'm a little concerned with Brian Cage winning because I feel like he has to beat Moxley now, or what do you do? And I just feel like it's kind of soon, but we'll see how it plays out. Something may happen. The Nyla Rose and Hikaru Shida match was also very great. I love that whole thing. Great fight. I was a little surprised to see Shida win, but the people do like her. As Aaron said, she's pretty popular. And Moxley versus Brody Lee, again, crazy good stuff from both guys. I really enjoyed it. I think the right man won. I'm interested to see where Brody comes from here. And the Stadium Stampede match, where do you begin with it? It was just crazy. I think that's, man, it's up there.
The Hangman Page chasing Guevara on the horse. I mean, just...
Yeah, I think that it's very close in terms of that and the Boneyard match as far as cinematic matches go. It was just amazing. And I think that match alone was worth $50. It was crazy. I loved every second of it. But Aaron, do you think that the Stadium Stampede was the best cinematic match that we've had to date, or does the Boneyard match top it?
See, I think I would go with the Boneyard match after a few days to think about it, but the Stadium Stampede was so much fun. It was just so long, although I think the Boneyard match was pretty long as well. The thing about the Boneyard match is it flew by so quickly. The Stadium Stampede match, at times I felt like they could have edited it down a little bit and cut out a few things. But overall, it was fantastic. And we do have a few super chats here. Psycho Jet Black with $2 says the AEW ladder match was better than Money in the Bank. That I think I would agree with. I think the Casino ladder match for me was more entertaining than the Money in the Bank match, just because it felt like more of a traditional match. The Money in the Bank stuff at the headquarters was fun. I liked it, but I don't know. I think the Casino ladder match really delivered big time. And Psycho Jet Black with a $2 super chat says, I'd rather have Rift Aronson as champion than Braun Strowman. Do not mention his name, please, Rift Aronson. That is very rude to do that, because you're gonna start causing trouble here. But yeah, Double or Nothing, excellent pay-per-view. Like I said on my stream, check it out if you haven't seen it already. Order the replay. Well worth it in my opinion. And from what I've heard, the buy rate was really good for this show. Maybe if the number holds up, it might be the most bought AEW pay-per-view to date, which is really impressive considering the circumstances with COVID-19. That would be awesome news for AEW, and it would show that the quality of the product is really shining with the fans, and they're very loyal to it, and they're sticking with it. So yeah, great stuff from AEW. I loved it.
Big G. And TJS or Aaron really didn't bring up the Cody thing. Like, I feel well, we can come back and talk about it, but I feel like they wanted the picture that I saw online with Cody with the title and Tyson after he won it is what they paid Tyson for. Now, that was before we saw what happened on Dynamite. So what's your thoughts from Double or Nothing? I know you watched it.
Yep, I thoroughly enjoyed it pretty much from beginning to end. I did enjoy the Jon Moxley and Brody Lee match. That was, we've seen them in the WWE face each other, formerly known as Dean Ambrose and Luke Harper. And I thought they had a lot more, what's the word I'm thinking of? Creativity, I guess you can say, in this match than they would have in WWE. I loved that Stadium Stampede match. I mean, you had different cuts. It wasn't always on the same person. I loved with Hangman and Jake Hager in the bar. He's like, are you here to fight or drink? And then you had Kenny Omega and him drinking beer and milk. I was like, that was awesome. I liked the whole Mattitude stuff. Matt Hardy coming out as different versions of himself, and you had the Mattitude effect, and what else?
I don't think Jim Cornette liked it though.
Oh,
well, I could care less about Jim Cornette. He doesn't pay my paycheck.
I like when Jim Cornette doesn't like things, but it doesn't change my opinion though, because you know how he is. He's old. He's stuck in the 80s.
am glad that Hikaru Shida won. You know, she's a lot better than Riho, in my opinion. What else?
She's tough. You know what I mean?
She's yeah. I did like Brian Cage debuting. I was like, when they mentioned him, I was like, okay. I was like, we all knew he was coming, and it would kind of shock me that he did win the title or earn the #1 contendership right away. I figured he'd be in there for a while in AEW, and then eventually being the #1 contender. What else? Oh, Cody. Yeah, I thought Tyson would get more confrontational with Archer, but maybe they'll save that for a later date after this whole thing. What happened on Dynamite. But it was good to see Tyson. He looks like in phenomenal shape. I'm sure he could have one more boxing match with anybody. Cody winning it, I'm okay with it. Other than that, I mean, it was a good show.
And with Cody winning it, it did take a long, long time for him to win a title. It's not like he did it right out of the gates, and it's a secondary title. So
yeah, hopefully. Well, he said that he's going to defend it every week on TNT.
Yeah, it's gonna be like that's that TNT. It's not like a TV title. I like that.
I like it.
So what? How do you guys think they did the beer bottle spot in the bar? By the way, I forgot to bring that up. Do you think he took like 4 beer bottles over the head, Hager? How do you think?
Oh, they probably had the candy glass ones. The
stuff they use in the movies.
Yeah. And then, do you want to come back to Cody? Or you want me to just cover that now?
No, go for it. Talk about him now.
I feel like what Jake the Snake could do is he could come out and say, Archer saw that ugly ass belt and he said he was laying down for it. He didn't want it, or something like that. No, in all honesty, though, I think that, like what Virtue said, Cody and Tyson, son of Dusty Rhodes, that's what is going to get the headlines. And I would have rather had Cody chase, but it is what it is. I really enjoy Archer's character, though, and I wonder where he's going to go from here. Maybe a rematch? I don't know. I guess we'll see.
I wish they learned how to do heat better, long-lasting heat, because in the end, when the babyface does triumph, it sticks with the babyface longer. I mean, that's how it used to work, but I don't know. Maybe it doesn't work anymore. Maybe they tried, but it doesn't.
And that one-winged angel that Guevara took from Kenny Omega, holy cow. I was like, oh, my God. But, yeah, if it wasn't for Virtue posting that video up the other day, I don't think I would have done it either.
Yeah, of course. Monkey see, monkey do. But let's move on. We're going to stick to AEW because on Dynamite on Wednesday night, they come out in whatever old truck that was and pimping. I don't even know what kind of 70s truck. I don't know. I'm not a big car guy when it comes to that. The Revival, FTR come out, and you think they were going to attack the Young Bucks. They kind of helped them. Now, I'm sure that's where they're going to go in time. So Aaron Rift, the Revival are in AEW, more WWE guys. And by the way, this is why I like, now that it happened, Brian Cage winning that and maybe becoming the next champion, because he's not a WWE guy. A lot of people question why they didn't go for a guy. He's got the Vince look. He's got the wrestling ability that modern wrestling fans like. Can he cut a promo? Who knows? You got managers. So maybe that's a good thing, Aaron. But what do you think about the Revival? More WWE guys in AEW.
Okay, well, first off, Psycho Jet Black with a $2 super chat says, imagine if Conor McGregor showed up at AEW. Hey, Tony Khan has some deep pockets, so never say never with that. But as far as the Revival goes, I'm very happy to see them in AEW. They seem like they have a new lease on life. I'm looking forward to the match with the Young Bucks. I wonder if they'll save it for All Out or if they'll do it sooner. Maybe they'll do it at Fyter Fest, but I think they should wait until All Out. Let the Revival or FTR pick up some wins and slowly build up that match. Hopefully they can have a crowd for All Out, but we'll have to wait and see. That's September 5th, so they got time. We'll see what happens with that. And Brian Cage, he's awesome, and I don't have a problem with AEW picking up WWE guys. I know people are like, well, you bashed TNA for it, so why are you not bashing AEW? The thing is, with AEW, They are working on building their own talent, and I think that's ultimately the key. They need to make some homegrown superstars that are not from WWE. They're also a newer company with Impact. After a decade, you can only use that it's a new company excuse, I think, but people are still using it. AEW still has time to develop these stars. With Impact, they had AJ, they had Samoa Joe, and those guys just took a back seat to the Kevin Nashes and the Booker T's, and that's the problem with Impact. They had to solely rely on the older guys, and they had opportunities to make new stars, and they did not do it. So that's the difference between Impact and AEW.
But you don't think AJ became a star in TNA?
He
Yeah,
did,
he did.
but not next level. I mean, he's a bigger star in WWE than he ever was in TNA by a long shot. I mean, the problem with AJ, remember when they took AJ and they made him Ric Flair's lackey and put him in the robe and he had the earring? That was so bad. Like, why would you do that? It was terrible. And then Abyss, another guy that was pretty badass, but then they made him Hulk Hogan's 2010 version of Dave Sullivan. It was awful, the Hall of Fame ring. It was so bad. It ruined those guys. AEW hasn't done that yet. If they take Jungle Boy and they make him the new Chris Jericho, then I'm going to call out AEW. Rest assured I will. But until they do shit like that, I say give them some time and see what happens with these guys.
Now, Aaron, before I pass it on to Big G on this topic, we're going to do a little Virtue's Rage, and it has nothing to do with wrestling. And I think the NoDQ Galaxy will get a kick out of this. When you're on the NoDQ review, one of my rules is to always have earbuds. So, TJS, I know you've been off for a while, so I'm going to give you the benefit of the doubt. Do you have some on, Big G?
No.
Okay. So, earbuds, please, gentlemen, next time you're on this show. Aaron Rift and I have them on because I'm getting a little bit of feedback from someone's speaker. So if you two maybe turn your volume down, but don't cut off on us. And then I will pass it to you, Big G. Again, people love when I rage, and I really can't think of anything to rage about. So I'm going to rage about you two not having earbuds, but I know we're going to course correct it, and the NoDQ Galaxy was part of this session. Hey, Big G, what do you think? FTR. Yes?
Yeah. We all knew they were coming. We just didn't know exactly when. I think, was it Dax or the other one? They tweeted out, "Hey yo," or something like that, because it was the anniversary of Scott Hall going to Raw. So yeah, I enjoyed it. I thought they were gonna attack the Young Bucks as well, but they didn't. Hopefully, like Aaron said, they'll save it for a later date. If not Fyter Fest, then All Out. Yeah, I'm glad to see him in AEW. In WWE, Vince wanted to make them like a comedy tag team, and they didn't want any of that. They want to be like a traditional tag team, like the Brainbusters and all the people that they pretty much grew up watching. They want to be like them. So maybe they'll start off with them facing the Butcher and the Blade because they attacked them first, next week on Dynamite or whatever. And then, like I said previously, later down the road with the Young Bucks. I do want to see them face Private Party. You got so many great tag teams in AEW. AEW takes their tag team division more seriously than Raw and SmackDown combined.
Are Omega and Hangman the champs still?
Yes, and you have Sabian and Havoc facing them next week, if I'm not mistaken. So that should be a good match. I'm happy that they're there.
Okay.
They'll have more creativity. They'll have more, what they want to say. And does AEW doesn't do it. They don't have scripts, right? They just do bullet points and then they go out and talk, if I'm not mistaken.
From what I gather, yes.
So
they're not being told like what to say verbatim.
So they have more freedom of speech pretty much in AEW than they did in WWE. Now, if they had stayed down in NXT, I'm sure they would have been fine. But as soon as somebody from NXT jumps up to the main roster, they pretty much crap on them.
Oh, we got a nice big event. We got a main event later that's going to talk about.
So
what could be
I'm gonna still Virtue's Rage here for a second. So
it's popular. Go.
They call up Shayna Baszler from NXT, and they've done complete jack squat with her since she's been up there. She lost to Becky at WrestleMania when if Becky was pregnant by then, she should have dropped the title. She didn't win the women's Money in the Bank ladder match, and she wasn't even considered for this #1 contendership, on Raw this past week. She wasn't even on Raw this week, so I'm just fed up with it. Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Now, before I go to TJS for the revival, Aaron, you had something to say a minute ago or no?
Yeah, there's a couple super chats. Mo Camera is back. I know we've all missed him. He left a $2.79 super chat. Says, "Hey Baron, have you seen 3 from Hell?" No, I have not seen 3 from Hell. But if you want to send in another super chat, I'll answer your question again.
That's not Aaron's kind of horror movie. That's like a broad daylight gore fest movie, and Aaron's more of the Halloween type, Freddy Krueger, Jason type guys.
There you go. And Psycho Jet Black with a $2 super chat. Thank you for that, Psycho. He says, Ric Flair AJ Styles is still more over than EC3, the Ric Flair version of AJ Styles. Yeah, probably. Poor EC3. I don't think he's going to end up in AEW. I think he'll likely go back to Impact Wrestling. That's just my gut feeling on it. And Gary wanted to give a shout out to Chris Mason. He's going to be donating some funds to Chris, and I think the GoFundMe is still running. They did hit the goal, but I believe the page is still up if you guys would like to send a donation. For those of you that missed it, Chris Mace's home burned down on Monday, unfortunately, due to a fire. So, they're trying to get as much relief as they can. He has a family, and our best wishes to Chris. He's a really good guy, been very loyal to the website and channel for many years. And he's in here quite often. I think he was on Wrestling Trivia Challenge once. He's often doing videos with the NXT guys. So we love
did a
you,
debate
Chris.
Together.
Yeah, Chris is a great guy, and we wish him well. That's all I got for now.
Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Yeah, why would you do?
Okay, no, I just put headphones in, just making
Yeah.
sure.
All right, TJS, you're a big revival mark, so have at it.
Yes, fellas. Oh man, I was so thrilled to see them in AEW. I thought the debut was great. I think it's interesting that they saved the Bucks, didn't attack them. I hope that they're not going to be baby faces. That I don't think that would work. But man, it's just great to see them, and I love that one of the first things they did was a pile driver, very old school. And as you know, you cannot do that in WWE. I will say that Cash and Dax, that doesn't really roll off the tongue very much, in my opinion. I like Dash and Dawson better. That's just me. But I'm thrilled to see what they have to do. And if they don't have a crowd for the Bucks versus FTR, man, that would be a huge mistake.
They're probably going to wait for that. So I think that maybe is why they didn't, they teased it that they didn't do it.
I would definitely hope so, but man, they have so many great teams to work with. The Private Party, what is it, Jungle Express or whatever? What's the name? Jurassic Express. Yeah, that's it. Just a lot of good teams in there. I just can't wait to see what they do. And I wish there was a crowd for their debut because, man, the pop they would have gotten I think would have been great. So I'm very excited to see what's next for them.
All righty. Now, also on Dynamite this week, boy, AEW, hot topic this week.
Yeah.
Half the show. Tyson and Jericho had a confrontation. So when I saw that photo from Double or Nothing with Cody and Tyson, I was like, they couldn't have paid Tyson just for that. So, of course, Tyson came out with his entourage. Tyson's clumsy. He's clumsy. Unless he's boxing, then he looks like legit. If he does anything outside of boxing, you almost are waiting for him to mess up or have some type of meme. When that's great about Tyson, to be honest with you. It gives him depth of character. It's not always serious. Him and Jericho, I wonder what's going to happen with this. Jericho recently said, you can do pro wrestling with anybody. You got to be smart about it. Work to Tyson's strengths. Get rid of his weaknesses. Gosh, could you imagine if they attempted anything Tyson Jericho? And I know we think of WWE when they do this kind of stuff when we laugh. Well, I mean, Tyson might get back in the boxing ring, but here's what people are pointing out. Is this just WWE rehash? Because Tyson did this with Jericho, did this with Michaels back in the Attitude Era. So, TJS, what's your thoughts here on this Tyson Jericho stuff? I mean, he is hot right now. I like the fact that they brought him in. But what was Dynamite, Aaron? 870 million. They still can't get over, or 1,000. They still can't get over 1 million even with Mike Tyson. TJS.
Yeah, I think it's weird that they advertised Tyson and he didn't show up until the end. Like we knew he was going to come out. I think. What do you guys think of the reason for Jericho wanting the match? It's like, oh, it's something that happened in another.
Because he knows Tyson's hot, red hot. Tyson might be having a boxing match. We don't know if it's going to be exhibition versus Holyfield versus Tyson Fury for a title, but he's probably going to have some pay-per-view boxing match.
Yeah.
They're trying to ride the wave.
I think that it's good to bring Tyson in as opposed to like Tyson Fury because I didn't know who that was. I think the people know Tyson, and Jericho's also a pretty mainstream name in my opinion. So, man, I wonder if they'll do something like a cinematic type of boxing match, Jericho and Tyson. And then you could have Jericho cheating or something. I don't know. It has Jericho, so it's going to be entertaining, I think. And the segments, man, I just heard Jim Ross in my head saying, Tyson in Austin, pandemonium. He should have just replicated the lines. They should have just gone all out with it, just completely mimicked it, I think. But, man, like I said, Jericho's in it, so it should be very entertaining. Aaron, what'd you think, man?
Hold on a second here. We do have a few super chats to get through. Psycho Jet Black with a $2 super chat says, I just realized TJS looks like the Shock Master. All you need is that helmet, the Star Trooper helmet. And Ken Terminated by Google with a $5 super chat. Thank you, Ken. Says, this is off topic here, going back a second. Big G, maybe Vince doesn't see Shayna as a top heel yet. She's been in the main event roster for a few months. How many stars have the, quote, not ready yet, end quote, BS? So that was from Ken Terminated by Google. Maybe in a second, Big G could answer that if he wants. That's up to him.
That's fine. I could do it at the end.
Okay, and Adrian sent in a $2 super chat. Says, Tyson and his T-shirt versus Y2J in a handicap match. Yeah, Mike Tyson doesn't exactly have the best track record with T-shirts. Let's just put it that way.
Like they're supposed to like make a rip in it, like or put the print on a cheap shirt. Like there's tricks around that, like Hogan used to do. Come on, people.
Yeah, he's got to use the gimmick. He's got to learn from the Hulk Hogan playbook on how to rip off a T-shirt. But TJS, I really like your idea about a cinematic match with Mike Tyson. Like even if he could not do like an actual match, that would be pretty interesting. I think to do some kind of skit like that, like a mini movie with Tyson and Jericho. That could be a lot of fun. That would be creative.
And he was in a movie, a kickboxer movie with Rob Van Dam, with Jean-Claude Van Damme just a couple of years ago. And he did okay, so that type of atmosphere might work really good for Tyson.
And I get why AEW is doing this. They want the publicity, and Tyson and him being on AEW. That got some coverage. ESPN covered it. I believe it was on the front page. And I think they could potentially do a match with Tyson, maybe something like WCW, where it could be a tag team match. Tyson could be teamed up with one of the rising baby faces in AEW, and that guy can get the rub off of Tyson, and it could be up against Jericho and Sammy Guevara or Jericho.
What about DDP and Tyson?
Yeah, I'd rather they use a young guy, push a guy that could be a potential main event guy and get the rub off of Tyson being part of that. So I think that's a possibility. The cinematic match is an idea. It's good for AEW. I know it's not what some of the diehards want to see. They don't want to see the WWE style soap operas, but this is the kind of stuff that's going to get more eyeballs to AEW.
Yep.
It's not the flips and all the high spots. It's these big moments that are going to draw in new fans. So if AEW, maybe those AEW fans, like they're selfish in a way. They don't want their product to get too popular, because then they have to share the experience with everybody else. It's not like their little special thing anymore. So we'll see what happens.
That's a good point, Aaron.
I think AEW should do more of this kind of stuff. I know it's very WWE-esque, but I want to see AEW get to the next level in popularity. I want to see them back over 1 million viewers every week.
Big G, sometimes Tyson being clumsy with non-boxing stuff is that charm of Tyson. Like, we all know when he talks, it sounds funny because of his lisp. And I'm telling you what, he's an entertaining guy. And
Yeah.
what do you think here? Jericho is obviously too.
Well, I enjoyed it last night. I mean, it was weird that like his posse came out with him last night, but it had to kind of even the score. Tyson having his posse and Jericho with the inner circle. Heck, I'll pay money to see Jericho versus Tyson in any kind of match because it'll be entertaining as hell. Mike Tyson is like in the best shape right now that I've seen in a long time. Got that gray beard going on too. So, well, I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what happens.
Cool. We'll move on. So this bothers me. Aaron, I'm going to start with you because Ray Phoenix recently did a dive and didn't get caught and got hurt. Who was the girl on SmackDown last night? Shotzi McKenzie or what?
Oh, Shotzi Black.
Shotzi, yeah, I don't know. Basically didn't get caught. Now, there's a lot of injuries happening in wrestling. Britt Baker. Now, I know some of these are accidents. The Nia Jax injuries. Kairi Sane, I guess, on Raw got hurt, supposedly. Why is wrestlers getting hurt? This is supposed to be a work. And I know wrestlers got hurt back in the day, but then it was always something where they could work through it. Like, these injuries seem to put them off TV for a while. So, Aaron, I swear to God, you always have a headline like every other day about some type of injury.
Yeah.
Like, we need to talk about this because it's a show. And I want to see my characters stay on TV. Now, yes, they can do something like they did with Britt Baker, bring her out in the wheelchair. But, like, now she's not working. So what's your thoughts on this? Is it just me or injuries seem like a common occurrence? And what's your thoughts about, like, fans saying wrestlers are unsafe when we don't really know? It could be a coincidence, like the Nia Jax stuff.
Well, I think wrestlers, for the most part, are as safe as possible. Otherwise, they would not be working in the big leagues. There are so many wrestlers out there, so few spots. Only the safest ones are going to make it to television. They're going to make it to the big time. I think it's just a matter of the industry changing. It's no longer about less is more. It's about how many flips can we do in one show? How many this is awesome chance can we get? We got to make every match like the WrestleMania main event. And that's the philosophy right now. Back in the day, Bret Hart would hold some things back. He would pace himself. He would not do too much. And, it was less is more. And now it's different. Bret was very much about making it as real as possible without hurting the other guy. And I still think that applies to a lot of people in wrestling today, but there are also people that just want to do the acrobatics because that's what gets the reaction, that gets the this is awesome chant. And it's like, can you top this? Like every week they got to try to top the previous week, and what new crazy thing can we do to top the last week? And it just keeps escalating. And yeah, I think at some point there's going to be changes that will need to be made. Otherwise, somebody will get seriously hurt. It hasn't happened yet. And unfortunately, it might take a serious injury until things start changing. And before I get back to you, Psycho Jet Black with the $2 super chat says, I'm sad that Ember Moon might have to retire due to injury. And what's dumb about that is that was a 24/7 title segment. Anyway, Virtue, go ahead.
Well, like in Paige, I get Austin that got his neck hurt. Sean got his back hurt. We can go back, and the injuries happened back then, but it's like they did come back, even though if we didn't know they were going to come back. But like Paige is not wrestling anymore. Now the news about Ember Moon, it's like, can we blame Shawn Michaels for being the crazy guy that did sunset flips onto caskets and stuff? And then everybody today wants to do like they did. And I don't know. I just think there's a lot of injuries because, Aaron, they're afraid to work the old style and slow style and get the boring chance. I mean, so the culture's changed. That has to be it.
Yeah, and again,
do you have another super chat before I pass it on?
No, and keep in mind that there's, again, so many people under contract, and I think that everyone has to fight for their spots now more than ever. Like 2 decades ago when it was WWE versus WCW, there was the competition, and you did see the stunts pick up for sure during the Attitude Era because of the ratings battle. And then after WCW was sold, it slowed down a bit. But now we're seeing it speed up again, and I think it's not just because of the competition between the companies, but also because more people are being hired and everyone wants a spot on TV, but there's only so many spots. Even with 3-hour Raws and all this TV, there's still people that are struggling to get TV time. So when they do get it, they want to throw everything they have out there and try to keep their spot.
So I remember when characters and promos could get them over and they didn't have to kill themselves. Big G, are you seeing the same thing I am here with these like injuries that probably could be avoided? And again, there's injuries in all eras.
Yeah.
But God, I mean, it just seems like they're piling up 2 or 3 times more than they did back in the 80s and 90s and even the early 2000s.
I mean, I think some of them, you know, they are accidents. I mean, look at Seth Rollins a couple years ago when his knee buckled when he was doing the buckle bomb to Kane, you know. Or, you know, like Paige can't wrestle anymore because all the stuff that she took. And I think Kairi Sane's, those are just by fluke accidents with her and Nia Jax, to be honest. Nia is such a big girl compared to a small girl. Of course, if you get thrown by a big girl, you're going to get pretty much flung into whatever is nearest. So if it was like steel stairs or whatever, you know, and you're going to get thrown a lot harder. Who else? Britt Baker, you know, accidents happen. I mean, yeah, this generation of wrestlers, the matches are more fast paced and, you know, like Aaron said earlier, how many flips can we get in one match? How many flips can we get in one show pretty much, you know? It's ridiculous. I mean, granted, I do like the acrobatic stuff, but I kind of miss the slow, you know, paced, methodical matches where you told a story in the ring. But now, if you mesh them both together, that'd be perfectly fine. You know, 50-50. Other than that, they just gotta be more careful on the ring. You know, if you're supposed to catch somebody, catch the person. You know, now with Ember Moon, she has an Achilles injury, if I'm not mistaken, and that's the same thing. And that's what Xavier Woods has too, right?
I
think he tore his Achilles. Yes.
Yeah. So
he's out too.
Yeah. So I don't know how. They're two different people, so she might not be able to recover from it and not wrestle. But Xavier Woods, you know, depends on how well it heals, I guess. You know. So they just, like I said, they got to be more careful on the ring. I don't know personally, you know, how to take a bump in the ring. I would love to one day just to see how it feels. Maybe I'll have to come up to Ohio with you there, Virtue. And
I was to say, we can show you.
Yeah.
So
flat back bump, the simplest one you can do with your arms hitting.
Yeah. So, you know, like I said again, they need to be more careful. That way, their careers can keep on going and they don't have to retire like at a young age.
Well, I want to be entertained. I don't want to be entertained by their physical harm. Like, you know, I don't know. And I get wrestling's physical. Aaron?
Okay, we do have a few super chats here. One from Adrian with $2. He says, will AEW sign, I cannot pronounce this guy's last name, but I believe he's talking about Nails, in which case the answer is a big no. That ain't going to happen.
I don't think he still works.
Yeah, I have no idea. I honestly haven't heard his name in years. Psycho Jet Black with a $2 super chat. Thank you. Psycho says, without high flying, Ricochet would be out of WWE. Well, I mean, that's definitely what brings him to the table. You know, that's his strength, is his ability.
If he wasn't in WWE, he'd be in AEW.
Yeah, I mean, he would get work somewhere. He's just a really talented guy. He would find his way. Yeah, and the game is on 100 with a $5 super chat. Thank you for that. He says, there's an old saying in wrestling, don't hurt the guy or girl because you can. You just have to take care of each other. That's what Andre said. Yeah, well said there.
TJS, thoughts on this? Unless you don't have much to say, we can move on. I mean, you might like the style, so. Whoa, and he's gone.
And he's gone. Well, we do have another super chat here. Real quick, let's get to this other super chat.
He's back.
From Smith's Grove, he sent in a $2 super chat. Says, wrestling being cool is passe. Yeah, you might be right on that. Anyways, TJS, what do you got for us?
I just what sucks about this the most is that these guys are doing these crazy bumps in front of basically no one. Like at Double or Nothing, you had MJF take like a Canadian destroyer on the apron, and the way that he sold that, man, I thought it was bad. And I get it, you can be safe, but it really sucks that there's no crowd to see all these huge bumps that these people are taking. And the Britt Baker thing, wrong place, wrong time. I think the landing was. I don't think it was anyone's fault. It just happened. But man, it's crazy to see how many people.
Well, she got her nose busted open a few weeks earlier. It's like, is this real or script? Choreographed.
Yeah. But then you have the people that aren't catching the people, which, man, I don't get it. That happened so much in the go home show to Double or Nothing. Phoenix did a dive, wasn't caught. Colt Cabana did a moonsault, they didn't catch him. Shotzi Blackheart didn't get caught. What's going on, man? It's crazy. I don't know. It doesn't make any sense to me. And then you had the spot that Darby Allin did where he climbed the ladder and then jumped off with the skateboard. Why? I don't understand. I'm just sick of seeing the Canadian Destroyer too. I'm so tired of seeing that move.
Is P.D. Williams getting royalties? And I'm sure it was done before him too, but
it's a transition move now, and man, that move
to DDT.
I don't know, man. I think they just need to at least wait until there's a crowd before they go out there pretty much killing themselves in front of no one.
All right, so this next topic, it can be brief, but like we know that the Japanese star, I can't remember her first name, but Kimura committed suicide and passed away in the past week. Cyberbullying, the Alexa Bliss comments, and there's a fine line with this topic here because some people have underlying depression issues, okay? Anything can trigger them. And of course, is it being picked on social media? We don't know. Some people fight back like Alexa Bliss, but also too, if you're personally attacking people, that's one thing. If you're questioning their wrestling ability or their character, and all of a sudden you're called a cyberbully, now we're just blowing things out of proportion. I mean, wrestling has become a social media, thing, right? Where we share and we talk about it online. So now it's like we got to be careful what we say. I just want everyone's quick thoughts here because you see something like a suicide, and then you see somebody like a little firecracker Alexa Bliss fighting back, and it's like it's confusing. Like you know what I mean? What do you say? What don't you say? How can you critique? How can you fans should have the right. Like you watch a movie, you could say something's good or bad or sucks. I don't like that character. They were boring. They did the part awful.
Right.
TJS.
Yeah.
This is touchy here because it's cyberbullying, and I don't want to get on the wrong side here.
Yeah, it really sucks. Hana Kimura was my age. She's just 22.
That's right.
Yeah, and she passed away. That's very unfortunate. I just think that this is why wrestlers need to have 2 Twitter accounts. Have one for your character, have one for your personal, and just if you need help, reach out. Block the people that are hating you, harassing you, anything like that.
And it's very easy to do that, right, gentlemen? It's very, very, trust me, we know, very easy to do that.
Yeah, it's like I said, it's very unfortunate. I just think that constructive criticism is okay, but if you're going to criticize someone or come to them with a problem, I think you should also present a solution. So say you can do this to get better. Don't just, crap on the person. And like you said, you can crap on the character. You could say, I don't like the Ricochet character. Instead of just saying, Trevor Mann has no talent or Trevor Mann sucks.
Exactly.
It's really unfortunate, I think. So just specify, man. Just critique, don't bully, I think, is just the best way to go about it. Big G.
Yeah, it's a shame. Only 22 years old, and if you know what, like my parents used to say, if you don't have nothing nice to say, don't say anything at all. But that's not Twitter. On Twitter, people say what they want to say, how they want to say it, and TJS, you pretty much put the nail in the coffin. Just critique them. Don't bully them. I mean, you have so many versions of bullying. I mean, face to face when you're at school, cyberbullying. I'm gonna leave it at this. If you have nothing nice to say, don't say anything at all.
Now, I think you can still be edgy on social media. Follow Twitter, at NoDQ_virtue. But, I'm not going to go out there and tell somebody that, they should go off themselves because they're a bad human being. So, you know what I mean? Aaron Rift, I'm curious on your thoughts. We talked a little bit off camera. You want to add anything to this conversation before we move to our main event?
Well, first of all, Psycho Jet Black sent in a $2 super chat. Says it was Terrence House fans that bullied Hannah. Yeah, that's true. So my take on it is that I think both sides need to make an effort to prevent this stuff from happening. I think on one hand, people need to treat other people with respect on the internet. And I have a saying too, if you would not say something to somebody's face, do not say it on the internet. Only put something on the internet that you would say to somebody's face. I think that's good advice to live by. And on the other hand, you got to have a thick skin on the internet because unfortunately there are assholes out there. There are people that will write hateful things because they are behind a computer and they feel that there are no consequences for what they write, and they're always going to be there no matter what. Even if us as a society were able to make things better over time, there's still going to be those people that are going to manipulate and make hateful comments just because they can get away with it. So if you're being harassed or bullied, click the block button. Don't take it. Ignore them and move on. TJS?
And I was just going to bring up Mauro Ranallo. He literally deleted his Twitter account because he got tired of it. So that's an option too. Yeah, I mean, if you have to and you know that you can't handle it, just stay off social media for a little bit until things get better for you. I don't think that taking your own life is ever the answer. And Mauro knows that he does have issues, so he just decided not to get on social media anymore.
Yeah, and you gotta just take a break sometimes from social media. I think all of us tend to get caught up in it, and I think it's unhealthy to just spend all your time on social media. And I try not to engage in a lot of arguments with people on Twitter because it's pointless. There's nothing that it's going to accomplish, and like arguing with trolls about stuff, like sometimes you just don't know if you're doing with a troll or if they're really just crazy. So in the end, I do my thing. People can like it, they can hate it, but I appreciate constructive feedback, but there's also a lot of people that do not leave constructive feedback. And yeah, if I read every piece of feedback that I've gotten and took it seriously, I would go absolutely crazy. I would lose my mind because there's so many hateful comments that I've gotten over the years and people threatening me and just saying all kinds of stupid things. And, I had to make sure that I could handle all that. And sometimes, just got to block people and try to just avoid conflicts with people that are just trying to cause trouble. So yeah,
and that's why I'm the
tough.
troll slayer, Aaron. Because I mean, did you know, like when the Owen Hart Dark Side of the Ring documentary aired, that Will Russo, which is Vince Russo's youngest son, people were tweeting him, "How does it feel to be the son of the father that was responsible for Owen Hart's death?" Like, are you fucking kidding me? Oh, that's how evil and stupid people are out there because they might not have liked Vince Russo's writing, so then this stuff needs to stop. And that's why I take on this troll slayer moniker online, to get those people that shouldn't be doing that off the internet, or at least to make them, oh wow, somebody's out there. You just be nice people. Like, and if you want to have fun, there's ways to have fun. But come on.
Yeah.
NoDQ Galaxy knows. But this is for the other people that might watch this video. All right, main event time. Aaron, before we get there, any super chats?
No, I think we're caught up at this point.
All right.
Oh, wait a minute. Actually, I take that back. Ken Terminated by Google sent in a $2 super chat. Says, what do you guys think of what Tammy/Sunny said? I actually wasn't even aware of what she said. I guess she's trying to get headlines again, and she's trying to say controversial things, but I'm not entirely sure what she actually said. So, Don't think I have any comment at the moment.
I mean,
yeah.
it is,
And same thing with Cornette. Like I said this before on my stream.
Yes.
Cornette's doing his shtick. I really don't think he is that hateful of a person. I think
he will not break kayfabe. That's
he's
the beauty
playing
of
the role of asshole because he knows it's gonna get headlines on wrestling sites, and he's trying to stay relevant. So I don't blame
And Aaron, I think those are his opinions, but he enhances them to the nth degree. You know what I mean? So he's not. It's not that he's not genuine with his thoughts, but very entertaining to some people.
I don't think he's quite as out of touch as people want to think he is. I think part of that's an act, at least. I mean, he might be crazy, but I sense Cornette's an intelligent guy, and he's playing the game. He's pushing the buttons because he knows it'll get his name on the wrestling websites. We do have another super chat. Oh, I guess I missed Psycho Jets, so let me go back to that here. But Adrian said with $10, thank you, Adrian. I act the same in person and online. Some people get offended by what I say. F them, not my problem. I would never get personal. Keyboard warriors and trolls are overused words. And I agree about the personal thing. Like, I have trolled people before. I will say things because I know it might get a rise out of somebody. I don't do it now because I'm just too old for the drama. But years ago, like, I would push buttons, and to me, it was just a waste of my time. Like, it's just counterproductive. It doesn't accomplish anything. And one thing I would never do, though, would be taking a personal shot at somebody. I would never call somebody out for something that they have no control over. Like, if you want to criticize somebody for something that they can control and they can fix, that's one thing. But if you start attacking somebody, name calling, insulting somebody for the way they look, or calling somebody a virgin, like, that's one of the dumbest insults I see on the internet. And half the time, it's the pot calling the kettle black. You know what I mean? Let me see here. I'm trying to find that other super chat from Psycho Jet Black. No, I did read that Terrence one, Psycho. I think we're caught up now. Let me see here. Yeah, it looks like we're caught up. All right.
Main event time. Okay. So, Big G, you mentioned earlier these NXT call-ups, like Shayna, and they get lost in the shuffle. A match recently happened last night on NXT. Riddle versus Thatcher. Excellent. The whole teeth spot. I believe, I'm going to go out on a limb and say that was a work. And however they did it, I mean, I don't know if he had fake teeth. I don't know. But that was awesome. Thatcher goes over. The rumor is that was Riddle's NXT swan song, and he's going to Smackdown. Go. Dude, as soon as he got that heat with Lesnar and Goldberg, they should have put this guy on the main roster. Now, the question is, if he goes to SmackDown, is he going to get lost in the shuffle like a lot of NXT stars do? Now, this guy actually has a real UFC fighting record. He would have probably stayed in MMA had he not got, kicked out for dope. Pot, right? Which is legal in a lot of places anyway. Matt Riddle is the real deal. I know some people don't like the barefoot, the surfer dude gimmick, the bro, whatever. By the way, a nice Vince Russo shout out there, even if he does it unintentionally. To me, this guy is going to SmackDown, and he's going to be developed to be at least a one big WrestleMania star. He's going to get fed to Lesnar. This thing is going to happen, people. I don't know when they're going to do the business because there's nothing left. What exciting thing is there that people might think, is this real, is this not? You could do the Goldberg stuff, but I think Goldberg should hang it up. The guy can't last 2 minutes. The real money's Riddle and Lesnar. I want Riddle on the main roster. AJ Styles just recently went over to SmackDown. Again, it's a rumor. SmackDown's still the big deal to them because it's on Fox. So, Big G, what's your take here? Are we going to get a lost in the shuffle, or is Riddle – because they didn't do much with him in NXT other than the tag team. He didn't really go over that often other than the Pete Dunne tag team thing. I think he's got money on him, man. It might not be John Cena money, Austin or The Rock money, but I think this guy can make waves. I think we can get some big matches out of him because he's not afraid to take bumps. He's not afraid to get hurt, even though it's scripted because of where he came from. Big G. I'm a Riddle mark.
Okay. Some parts I can agree with you, and then some parts I'm going to disagree with you. I could see a couple big matches.
Don't just say some and some. Specify. What do you disagree with?
Disagree?
You don't need to say what you agree with me about. Tell me what you disagree about.
Okay, so.
And don't be bitter about Shayna's current booking. Give her more time.
Okay, I'm going to give Shayna more time. I think, Matt Riddle's going to have some big time matches. He will get fed to Lesnar eventually. But I think he is going to be eventually lost in the shuffle.
Okay.
Vince is going to get bored of him like he does with anybody from NXT. He's going to get bored of him. I'm going to screw it. Like Shayna. I'm sure he's already, bored of Shayna because Shayna is not a wrestler that he produced. She came from UFC, went down to NXT, trained with Triple H and all of them, and now she's on Vince's show, Monday Night Raw. Matt Riddle, he'll do good for a while. After a while, a year or so, nobody's gonna remember the name Matt Riddle.
I got a counterpoint. He says what's on his mind, and Vince McMahon respects those type of people. He called out Goldberg and Lesnar. It's like he didn't give a crap. And at a time where if Vince fired him, he could go to AEW because he would have the style of match he can do. He does have a fan base. Yes, he hasn't proven anything on the main stage yet, okay?
Yeah.
But somebody needs to replace Roman Reigns and Vince's, McMahon's fireplace mantle.
Yeah.
And it's going to be Matt Riddle, and I keep hearing feedback, so that's got to be you, TJ. Anyway, Matt Riddle, to my counterpoint, will become Vince McMahon's next Roman Reigns. I'm calling it. I can see it. I've been setting this up for the last year. So anything else you want to add before I pass it on?
Nah, I'm good.
Okay, TJS?
Man, I certainly hope so. I hope that he's booked very strong. I really enjoy his work. I love the cage fight. And it sucks that the Broserweights are not going to be a thing anymore if he does go to SmackDown. I really wanted them to do more with that, but circumstances are preventing that at this time. And I think that Riddle versus Lesnar is the money match. The fans are, they want to see it. They want to see Matt Riddle and Brock Lesnar in a fight. People would think, is this a shoot? This seems like a shoot fight. You could do a cage match like you did with Thatcher and Riddle with Lesnar and Riddle. I think that'd be great. I think that I just wish there would be a crowd because right now I feel like there's no real difference between NXT, Raw, and SmackDown. They're all the same place, no crowd. It just feels so samey to me. I just could imagine Riddle, the pop that he would get at a Raw or a
Look
SmackDown.
at his body of work and what he can do in the ring, the different styles of moves, the chokeholds, the elbow drops, the moonsaults. What did Cain Velasquez do, or whatever his name is, with Brock? It was awful.
Exactly. Yeah.
Imagine Matt Riddle's body of work and skill set with a Lesnar. I'm just saying that I hope Vince McMahon has just enough left in his brain to see this money at a big stage.
It's believable too, man. Like Riddle looks like he could beat the shit out of anyone. This guy is he's shredded.
He's cocky. I mean, he's got all those qualities, like Lesnar.
Yeah, I think that would be a great match to have. Put it at WrestleMania, man. I would love it.
Big G.
Now, don't get me wrong. I do like Matt Riddle.
No.
I like Matt Riddle. I've liked him since he came to NXT. But the thing is, I just don't have the faith in Vince to book a star like Matt Riddle.
But he needs a new Roman Reigns. He needs a new toy that he gets behind no matter what anybody says. He has not got one yet. I mean, Roman, I'm sure, will come back and still have Roman stuff. But Vince needs a new toy. He needs a new toy every 4 or 5 years. That's how it is.
Yeah.
Aaron Riff. I'm curious. What do you think?
Well, in regards to what Big G said about Shayna, I would say give WWE some time. I feel like Shayna's being set up for SummerSlam to face Asuka. I think the plan right now is for Nia Jax to challenge her first and not rush Asuka versus Shayna Baszler right away. You want to build up to that. So I don't think Shayna's been wasted yet, although one could argue she should have won Money in the Bank. But then again, with the whole Becky Lynch pregnancy, WWE perhaps felt like they had to change plans with that. Now, regarding Matt Riddle, I definitely think he has some real potential, but I totally get the concern about him that WWE might give up on the guy. And first of all, how long is he going to be barefoot? We saw with Rusev, he had to start wearing boots after a couple of months, and in WWE's main roster. So that's part of Riddle's act.
Jimmy Snuka never did. The Wild Simones never did.
Yeah, but Rusev had to put on boots. How long will Riddle be allowed to wrestle without shoes or boots?
But I'm saying a bunch of people in history have wore their whole career without wearing boots.
I think that Rusev started wearing boots because he got an ankle injury at the time and then decided, probably not a good idea to be barefoot.
Well, all it takes is one injury. One injury, and they're going to be like, nope, you got to start wearing boots from now on. So we'll see. That's part of his identity. And what else will WWE do to tone it down, with him? But we'll see. We'll see with the upcoming move to SmackDown. If it is SmackDown, maybe things will work out for him. But it's all a big question mark. Ken Terminated by Google left in a $5 super chat. Thank you, Ken. He says, no offense to TJS, but I wish the champ was in this discussion because I'm sure Greg Cherry would be irate when I said that Baron Corbin will be jobbed to Matt Riddle. Yeah, he might be. I could see.
I'm just telling you, man.
Can you
Vince
see
needs a new Roman Reigns toy on his mantle, and I was thinking still Velveteen Dream could be that, but apparently he'd probably be in NXT a lot longer. So I'm going to say that Matt Riddle jumped that line. Again, a year from now I could be like, God, it never panned out. But I'm getting behind this train. I am.
Yeah. Can you see them eventually one-naming Matt Riddle and just calling him Riddle?
Yeah, they might.
Riddle me this, riddle me that.
Yeah, that's the thing. I saw somebody on Twitter joking.
Here comes the new champ, Riddle. I'm like, what the hell?
I saw somebody joke on Twitter this idea that Vince might start giving him an actual Riddler gimmick from the Batman comics.
Oh my God.
I think that Matt Riddle is a very simple name compared to some of the people that have been renamed. Because think about it. We joke about these renamings, but could you imagine still calling Cesaro Antonio Cesaro? Doesn't that just sound weird, I think? Or Alexander Rusev. I just think that's kind of weird. I think that sometimes those renamings are for the best.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes it works out. Yeah, like with Rusev. What was his original name?
Alexander
Rusev.
Yeah,
I like Rusev just as it is. I mean, it does. It
turned into Rusev Day.
Yeah, there you go.
You say Alexander Rusev Day. That'd just be.
Yeah.
And I want a Daniel Bryan versus Matt Riddle feud. I
would like to see that.
So it doesn't have. I mean, it doesn't have to be all. Let's build him to Lesnar. You can still get mid card feuds. I can't believe we're still saying Daniel Bryan mid card feud. There's still a lot of things they need to. You can't just say NXT people come up and get stifled. They do it with their own people too.
Yeah.
With the main roster people that have been there.
You can do Matt Hardy. Jeff Hardy versus Riddle in a joint on a pole match or something.
Oh my.
Vince Russo, baby. But yeah, there you have it. What do you think, NoDQ Galaxy? I don't know. Any super chats, Aaron?
Yeah, we got a couple. Psycho Jet Black with a $2 super chat says, Nails versus Bart Gunn in an Iron Man match equals ratings. He just had to mention Bart Gunn.
Gunn was okay. Nails sucked.
Yeah, well, Adrian, I think, brought up Nails earlier. Ken Terminated by Google sent in a $5 super chat. Thank you, Ken. He says, I don't think Riddle will be the next top star since his promos are similar to RVD. The days of Kevin Von Erich and barefoot performers are kind of done. Well, maybe it's time for a new recycling of what used to work. Maybe they can make that cool again with Matt Riddle.
We didn't think CM Punk would be a top star, and look what happened.
Yeah, I mean,
Daniel Bryan, look what happened.
I mean, he's got a badass theme song, so he's got that working for him at least short term. Wait a second here. We do have a super chat that I missed from Big Rocker Johnson. He sent in $2. He says, what are your guys' thoughts on Drew McIntyre versus Colby? I think he's talking about Seth Rollins. But Big G, anything you wanted to add on what we were just talking about? And then any thoughts on Drew McIntyre versus Colby?
You mean Seth? Okay, Seth Rollins. Okay.
So,
do you guys could you see, Matt Riddle versus Drew Gulak if Gulak did race time?
He could work anybody. A great top star can work anybody.
Okay.
Like the heat I get about Roman Reigns can work anybody. Yeah, okay, The Undertaker, there were a couple dead weight spots in that match. I mean, you do what you can. John Cena could have those same problems with The Undertaker. That was a squash match a year or two later with Cena because Taker was just getting older. Look at the Goldberg match. Come on.
Oh, excuse me. It was Colby Covington. I don't know who that is.
Oh,
I don't know.
Who is that? Is he an
I know
MMA
who that
fighter?
I think so.
Oh.
It
I
could.
believe so. Yeah.
You guys don't assume that I know UFC stuff. So if you
I think that is a UFC. But
if you
you
say
know-
Colby, I'm like Seth Rollins.
no, I want to see Matt Riddle versus wrestlers in the wrestling world. I mean, or Lesnar, but Lesnar was a pro wrestler before an MMA fighter. So
Yeah, he's Colby Covington. He is an MMA fighter. Yeah.
Yeah, I figured he was, but yeah, just don't assume that I'm like, oh, I know who that is. If it's a sports guy or a UFC guy. And Psycho Jet Black sent in a $2 super chat, says, imagine if Matt Riddle jobs to Jackson Riker. I do not think that's going to happen. I will go on a limb and say that will not happen. But yeah, that would make Matt Riddle less over than EC3. There you go, Psycho Jet Black. I hope you popped for that. And Adrian sent in a $5 super chat. Thank you. Adrian says, Matt Riddle will be in the unemployment line in 18 months. See, I disagree with that. I think the badass entrance theme, hopefully the crowds come back soon. I mean, that might hurt him. But if we have crowds and Matt Riddle's coming out there with his music and everybody's going, bro. We saw with Bobby Roode that gave Roode some longevity in WWE, even though he really had nothing else to bring to the table. And Matt Riddle, I would say, is a better in-ring performer than Bobby Roode, at least at this stage of the game.
And I like that he didn't get pushed in NXT that hard, because a lot of those big-time NXT people that got to the title and kept it for a while, they're the ones that have fizzled out on the main roster. But Strowman skipped NXT. Yes, they made a joke of Strowman, but now he's the Universal Champion. Like, you know what I mean? Like Bray Wyatt, what did he do in FCW? And I think he was in NXT. Not much.
Yeah.
And granted, we can make fun of parts of his run, but he's still been a big deal a couple of times. So with that said, I kind of like that Riddle didn't have the big shine in NXT other than a tag title run.
Heck, they're selling freaking Matt Riddle flip-flops on the WWE shop, so that's, it's
I'm just saying, I need something like a Lesnar or Roman to sink my teeth into, and I'm telling the NoDQ Galaxy, I've been behind Riddle, I'm getting behind Riddle, and if he does blow up and he becomes Vince's new toy, guess who's going to be saying I told you so? Yes, I'll eat crow if he fizzles out and Big G was right, but that's why we talk about these things. Different opinions. So who's Team Riddle, who's not on the main roster? Let's see if this rumor even comes true and he shows up soon. That's all I got this week. Any more super chats? Anything else anybody wants to talk about?
I think we're ready to do the plugs.
I am good to go.
TJS, we'll start with you since you're back.
Yeah, well, real quick, I just wanted to mention, I remember Virtue saying Kofi was the flavor of the month, and where is he now, man? He's not in the main event scene, that's for sure. Anyway, NoDQ.com/TJS takes you to my Facebook page, Twitter @officialTJS, and that's all I got. You can go to NoDQ.com/merch, buy some lovely merchandise there. I believe the good stuff is up there, Aaron. Got some good shirts, tapestries, mugs, everything that you could ever desire. Big G?
Yes, follow me at NoDQ.com/BigBallerG for my Twitter page. NoDQ_BigBallerG1988 Instagram. Jeff Hilton on Facebook. Like TJ said, go check out NoDQ.com/merch. Also on Teespring store, check out the Jeff Meacham t-shirts and the Greg Cherry brand. That is it for me.
G. Aaron Rift.
Psycho Jet Black sent in a $2 super chat saying, who's more over, Karrion Kross or Lance Archer? How do you even determine that? First of all, there's no fans in the arenas, so
yeah, we gotta wait.
It's hard
to be
continued. It's hard to say like who's connecting more with the audience.
On Twitter, on social media, Karrion Kross, Killer Kross, probably a little bit.
I mean, I can post.
Most people talk about Jake the Snake.
I'm gonna post a poll. I'm gonna see what people think, which character they find to be more intriguing right now. But yeah, we just don't know like to what extent these characters are connecting with the TV viewers because we don't have any fans in the arenas. So hard to say right now. But anyways, guys, thanks for tuning in. Only a few episodes away from 100. Looking forward to the big 100th episode of the NoDQ review. Stay tuned to NoDQ.com, of course, for the very latest wrestling news and rumors. We got a lot of big things happening. We got TakeOver in your house. We got Backlash with the greatest wrestling match ever, and a lot more to come. We haven't touched on that yet. I know TJS is probably foaming at the mouth to talk about that, but we'll have time. We'll have more videos coming up here. So thank you guys again for everything. Virtue, let's go ahead and wrap this bad boy up.
Follow me on Twitter at NoDQ_virtue. You can go over to my other page, NoDQ.com/virtue. That's all I got. So for Big G, for TJS, for Aaron Rift, and for Matt Riddle, bro, like Vince Russo, bro, we'll see you next time.
Bro.